Another huge week of trade talk in KFC SuperCoach. Let's take a look at who to buy, hold and sell for round 4. Some of the biggest decisions this week will be made in the ruck, still an area causing a lot of headaches for a lot of KFC SuperCoach teams. And I think if you've got a trade and you can find the money, you want to get Tim English into your team. Clearly the number one ruckman, just about the number one scorer in KFC SuperCoach. I could see that happening throughout the year. He's had 3 scores already of 134, 139, 139. Just looks fantastic. Scores in multiple ways. Gets some hitouts, that's great. But it's the way he gets around the ground, gets heaps of possessions, uses the ball well. The Bulldogs like to use him when they're moving the ball. So ticks a lot of boxes. The only worry is he had a little bit of a hamstring niggle in the preseason, scared people off, including me. I'm really regretting that now because he looks $1 million. He'd be my number one target in the ruck. Now, the issue, of course, for a lot of people is how to get the money to bring in Tim English because he's 616 grand. He's not cheap and he's going up. So now's the time to get him, I guess. But probably means you'll have to make a downgrade somewhere and bring in a rookie. Now, not everybody will want to pick up a new rookie this week, but there are a few on the bubble if you need them. And the one that I like is Harry Rouston at the GWS Giants. His scores in his first 2 games have been okay, 55 and 48, so not amazing. You probably only want him on the bench rather than on the field. But the positive sign is that he's been getting a lot of centre bounces, 60% in both of those games. So the Giants trust him. They're throwing him in the centre square. Good opportunities there for him to get his hands on the ball. I think that puts him slightly ahead of Will Phillips, who's the other probably top rookie contender this week. He was the sub in round 1, then he was dropped, came in last week, but the Kangaroos had a couple of key midfielders out, so not exactly sure if he's going to be getting a game every week going forward. Makes me a little bit nervous, whereas I think Rouston maybe can give us some nice cash generation over the next month or so at least. Now, who do we need to hold this week? And a player that I've got who has been a little bit disappointing the last couple of weeks, but I don't want to trade him out, is Sam Doherty. I'm seeing quite a few people doing that, and I guess that's one way you could trade him down to someone like Will Day or a cheaper player to get some money. But I would like to keep Sam Doherty in my team. He had 39 disposals last week, which is fantastic. The only issue is he did chop the ball a little bit. His efficiency wasn't great, and it resulted in a SuperCoach score of under 100, which is a little bit surprising. But, I mean, it shows that he's got a great role. He can get plenty of the ball. He kicked a goal as well. The Blues, we know, love him, and he's had a great record over a lot of years. So I'd be very reluctant to get rid of a player of his standing. It just means that there'll be a hole in your defence that you're going to have to try and fill sometime later in the season, maybe getting Doherty back if he gets down in price. But that's just another trade you're committing to. So I'm going to back in Sam Doherty and hope for a big score on Good Friday. Another player some KFC SuperCoachers are losing patience with after just 3 rounds is Rowan Marshall. He's had 1 big score, but 2 slightly unders in the first 3 rounds. He didn't really move in price after his 3rd game, but I'm still backing him in. I don't think I'd be trading him out to get Tim English. I mean, I know English looks like a guy everybody wants to have at this stage of the year, but I still think Marshall could be in the top 2 or 3 rucks by the end of the season. His efficiency of game was a bit of a concern on Saturday night. He had 19 possessions and didn't use the ball very well. And Sam Draper can be a bit of a hard guy to score against as well. But he's got a really good run coming up, especially in a couple of weeks he plays Collingwood, who we know don't have any rucks now with all their injuries. So I think he'll put up some pretty big numbers and reward the faith if you hang on to him. Who to sell for round 4? The first one is an obvious one, Darcy Cameron. Just really, really unlucky, which is a bit of a theme this year in KFC SuperCoach. A lot of people brought him in last week because he'd started the season so well and he was a great pickup at a bargain price, especially if you started him. But now we have to trade him out again. He's got a knee injury. He'll miss 4 or 6 weeks, so no way you can keep him. And I guess the big question is, do you find some money and get him up to Tim English, the number 1 scorer in the ruck, I think, and that's definitely what I'd try to do. And if you can't find the cash, probably Brodie Grundy is your best bet. But I just think Grundy, you're going to have to trade him out again in a month or so when Max Gawn comes back. But Darcy Cameron, a must trade this week. Another player I'd be looking to move on if you've still got him this week is Finn Callaghan at the GWS Giants. Looks like a super talent, scored 101 in round 1, but that seems like an eternity ago. Lower scores of just 45 and 37 the past 2 rounds. He did go up 19 grand with the first price movement on the weekend, but that might be all we get out of him. He's got a break even of 69 this week, and given those past 2 weeks, that might be a bit of a struggle for him. So I would be downgrading him. You can make 100 grand or more by getting a Rouston type or a Will Phillips into your team, and that allows you to get potentially English or boost somewhere else on the field.